Welcome, Darafshan. You are the Secretary of the Brotherhood and Sisterhood activity of the International Sufi Movement. We've asked you here today so that you can tell us a little bit about yourself as well as the activity. So why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself first?
Hi, Sabura, and thank you. I'm Darafshan. My Christian name is Daniela. I'm from Quito, Ecuador. I was born to a family of 4 siblings. I'm the second one, and I am very lucky to have most of my family sharing the same spiritual path in Sufism. And I have a small child, a little child called Emilia, and she's now kind of the center of my life. She is 1 year old, so most of my day I spend with her. I have that blessing of being close to her. I've been in Sufis for some years now, maybe a bit less than 10 years, and I've been secretary for the Brotherhood Sisterhood activity for the last 2.5 years. And I'm actually really happy to be part of the organization, and not only following the path traced by the message of love, harmony, and beauty, but also being able to contribute to all the worldly matters, which are the organization and the activities. Yeah.
So from your point of view, can you tell us a little bit about the history and purpose and how the Brotherhood and Sisterhood help to spread the message?
Sure. So maybe with respect to the history, the time when Hazrat Inayat Khan was working to spread the message in the West, there was a world war going on, and he heard the cry for peace and for the union and getting together of the people, overcoming these difficulties and these differences that divided and created so much suffering. So I believe the history will tell us that it is because of that context that the activity was promoted and created. But also I think it is Hazrat Inayat Khan himself that said that Brotherhood, Sisterhood, it's the realization of a spiritual work in our practical life. So we work in our inner world, and there are the different activities for that, and in the recognition of our ideal, of our divine essence. But it is not only the internal work that we can do, but also it is how we put that in practice in our everyday life. And so in the way that we interact with the people around us, in the way that we live our life, that we can actually attain our spiritual goals. And so that's Brotherhood, Sisterhood. And in Spanish, there is no such Brotherhood, Sisterhood, because there is the same translation, which is hermandad. And I like that because it doesn't have a gender. And I think Brotherhood, Sisterhood, or hermandad is about getting rid of differences and distinctions, and recognizing in each other what we have in common, what is something that works as a link for us, and that is our source, our origin, and that is the light that we all share, and the love that it's in all of us. And so in our inner work, I believe our task is to recognize that in ourselves, but it is also to recognize it in others, in those close to us, but in those that maybe are not related, but we interact with every day, and in those that are just passengers in the same place at the same time. So Brotherhood, Sisterhood is about that, searching for the unity and the attainment of our spiritual goal in our practical life.
What type of activities or events are people involved with when they're doing brotherhood and sisterhood work?
So if we think that brotherhood, sisterhood is that link between, in this case, the students of the Sufi path, then whenever we are together, whenever we meet to work, to study the message, to try to disclose the harmony and beauty of life with whatever we can do together, then that is a brotherhood, sisterhood activity or action. But also going back to that idea of recognizing the divine essence in everyone. If we truly understand and if we are aware that we're all brothers and sisters because we come from the same source, then we couldn't bear to see someone else suffering. And so if there is any action that is made to help others that are in need, then that is a brotherhood, sisterhood activity. And so there are some groups within the Sufi movement that have specific projects to help others in India and in the Dargah where Hazrat Inayat Khan was buried. There is an annual event for feeding the people that are around it, that are poor and in need. And in Ecuador, we recently joined efforts to acquire a piece of land that we hope one day will become a home for those seeking for the truth and the message of love. And this piece of land is within a community that has a lot of needs. And so we've worked with them with art classes and community work, and we are trying to be part of that community and helping it with the projects that they have. And it is slowly working, but it's working. But it is also an example of brotherhood, sisterhood activity. So it is actually very broad, and it has many ways that it is put in practice. But I think the most important is that sense of belonging and recognition of our of our link, which is the search of peace, the search of unity. So in some way, it involves all that we do externally for either the movement or also, it is not brotherhood, sisterhood activity is not something that belongs to the Sufi movement. And there are so many organizations searching for the same goal, the same ideal, especially in times, for example, when Hazrat Inayat Khan gave his message when there was a war, but also today with all the difficulties that we are going through, and so it is nice to see how the hearts are touched by the context to be creative and to try to find ways to help to reach out and be there for others. And that is being brothers and sisters. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that explanation. I feel like I really have an understanding that this activity includes whatever the Marids or the students or the activity centers want to do. So if your center is feeding people, or if you want to go on your own and be involved with any type of group that has a common goal, you can do that and be part of this activity. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have this project of actually formalizing, in a way, if you can say that, the planning of projects that are related to community or social work. And so that there is a space and a guidelines of, okay, I want to do this in the name of the movement or in the name of my own spiritual path. I'm learning that I'm part of this world and I'm part of this unity, and I have this lesson of understanding that there is divinity in me and in all of us. And so how can I put that into manifestation with doing something practical? So we hope to have in the near future something that gives somehow a guidelines to help those that are willing to do something get together and implement projects. But nowadays, if you're interested in getting involved with whatever is being done, and because of the pandemic, we can say that there's a lot of virtual sessions going on. And so being part of those virtual meetings, it's I think it's been how to say this, testimony of how our love for each other overcomes space, and we are able to adapt to continue this getting together and working for the same ideal. But if you are not in the Sufi movement, and there is also this willingness to learn more, especially in the Netherlands, the Brotherhood Sisterhood is like the first step into getting more involved with the movement. And it might be the same in other places. It is somehow recognizing that there is this search, and the organization, the International Sufi Movement, is just kind of a platform where you can look for help and guidance, and also feel welcome and recognized by others that are in your same position, in your same situation. Actually, it's realizing that we are all in the same boat and that we are all looking for that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's not as clear as with other activities maybe, but hopefully in the future, but definitely it is about being more involved and closer to those either in the movement or in others. It's an invitation for an everyday action of recognizing in others your same essence, your same divinity, and being aware of that probably will change the way that you interact with others.
Well, thank you so much for being with us here today in this interview. And I just want to let people know who are watching it that they can look at the website, that we will have links to countries and local centers where you live. And if you are interested in finding out more about this activity, you can contact them, or you can contact us at the main email as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you.